Today, I'm going to be talking about a coin which no one talks about on crypto Twitter, hardly any crypto YouTubers talk about, and a coin that you probably don't even hold in your crypto portfolio right now. However, I'm willing to bet that over 50% of you regularly interact with this project on a daily basis. And a major announcement was recently unveiled which changes the game for the tokenomics of this coin and has meant that the price is now starting to perform really well. But I still believe in terms of the ecosystem, due to the fact that it is in its nascency, we're still at the super early stages. And if you enjoy hearing about projects at the early stages, make sure you do click that subscribe button and turn on that post notification bell, because my entire goal with this channel is to give you the crypto alpha before anyone else. I was talking about AI coins in November last year before Render and Agix did a 6x. I was talking about gaming coins in October and November last year before coins like Prime ended up doing a 7x. So my whole mantra on this channel is to make sure you're equipped in the market with information that can help you get an edge. And that's what alpha truly is. So come join the community if you aren't already by clicking that subscribe button. Without further ado, let's get into the show. The altcoin that I'm speaking about today is TON, T-O-N, and of course the application that Toncoin is associated with is Telegram. Full disclosure, I don't own any TON tokens, nor am I sponsored by TON, Toncoin, or Telegram, so I'm completely unbiased here, but I do believe that the announcement yesterday was a game changer, and it does have me focusing now much more heavily on the ecosystem. We'll go into that a little bit further later in the video. So this video is purely to get you up to speed with the latest developments, as well as discuss the potential for a trade here, which could pan out quite nicely this bull run. So what is TON? It's of course the network that is associated with Telegram. Telegram does have principal ownership in the TON coin, and it's essentially a decentralized open internet which is created by the community using a technology designed by Telegram themselves. And Telegram is an application that has over 900 million users. So unlike many other crypto coins in the market that struggle for adoption, Toncoin has the unique angle of having access to a broad base of underlying users that of course do utilize the Telegram app. Now, TON itself is considered an open network, so it's a decentralized platform comprising primarily of 4 elements. They have the TON blockchain, that's the main thing I'm going to be referring to in today's video, but of course the coin does govern all of these verticals. You've got TON DNS, TON storage, as well as TON sites. And the TON blockchain is the protocol that connects all of these elements together. It's designed to be practical, it's designed to be fast, it may not have all the bells and whistles of other blockchains, so for me this isn't necessarily a pure tech play. You can consider this more so a bet on the success of Telegram and some of the recent major changes that we've just got that I want to discuss now, because they are massive and it's the reason why I'm making today's video. So the major announcement that we got is that Telegram's ad platform is going to launch via the TON blockchain. So starting in March, Telegram channel owners in over 100 countries can start receiving financial rewards for their work after the ad platform opens for all advertisers. Here's the kicker. The Telegram ad platform will exclusively use the TON blockchain to make payments according to the announcement. Durov, the CEO and founder of Telegram, said that similar to our approach with Telegram usernames on Fragment, we will sell ads and share revenue with channel owners in Toncoin. This will create a virtuous circle in which content creators will either be able to cash out their TON coins or reinvest them in promoting and upgrading their channels. Now, this is extremely interesting because it gives utility to Toncoin that previously didn't exist, due to the fact that now creators can actually cash out these coins via the TON blockchain directly. Or of course, they can use these coins to either promote or upgrade their channels, lending additional utility to the underlying token. And remember, Telegram is the 4th biggest online messaging application after WhatsApp, WeChat, and Facebook Messenger, having over 900 million users. So it is in a unique position compared to a lot of other projects where maybe it doesn't quite have the utility, but over time, there is obviously ways to leverage that massive underlying base of users that the application actually has. And of course, this ad program is one step further, considering, and I think the major point here is that cashing out TON is exclusively done via the TON blockchain, which will obviously increase the amount of transactions occurring on the blockchain. Animoca actually did make a recent investment into Ton validators, and Yatsu, the founder of Animoca brand, said, "We actually think that's a tool for mass onboarding with Ton wallet. There are about 800 million users on Telegram using Ton. What's not to be excited about?" And before I get into my personal strategy here relating to Ton and the ecosystem, let's look at another couple of catalysts happening at the moment. Firstly, you have the fact that Telegram is considering an initial public offering, so IPO, which would essentially make the company public. Telegram, known for its large group chats and encryption features, boasts 900 million users. Durov, who now solely owns the company, sees IPO as a way to democratize access to Telegram's value. This comes despite investor interest, with valuations exceeding the $30 billion range. For reference, Toncoin is currently valued at $12 billion with an 18 billion FDV. Now, they're not exactly the same because underlying equity captures pure exposure to Telegram and its revenue generating potential, whereas obviously Toncoin is the governing coin of the blockchain. So while there is some crossover in value, it's not as simple as just making that equation. But it's funny because decentralized networks, due to their positive flywheel of price appreciation, sometimes they can actually be worth more if they nail the tokenomics and they get the adoption right than the actual underlying equity of a business. I have seen this many times before in crypto projects. So I wouldn't rule that out either, but I just wanted to differentiate between the two. That's also a concept in crypto. I feel like a lot of investors don't understand how to separate token value and business value. It all depends on how much value accrues back to the token. If you have a token that accrues 100% of value based on the earnings of the company, well, then the token is essentially the company. If you don't, and shareholders, in this case, the founder Durov is making the majority of ad revenue being paid into his pocket or the company's pocket, and the token is only getting scraps, then you can consider it more of a governance token. In Telegram, it's a little bit of a mix of both. Ton previously didn't have much utility. They're giving it more. Obviously, this ad program is massive news, but there'll also be more utility coming over time, because one way of democratizing access, as he says, via an IPO is actually also to lend value to the token itself. And investors are starting to catch up on this approach because Ton has risen in price from the mid $2 region to the mid $3 region. And the other catalyst is, of course, the airdrops happening on the Ton blockchain. The most prominent one is the Toncoin airdrop, which is the viral tap to earn game you may have seen going around. They will be conducting their airdrop on the blockchain very soon. Another thing I want to point out before I get into my final verdict are some of the negative sentiments that have been shared around the coin. One of which is the fact it's relatively centralized, with Telegram holding the majority of supply. And there's been some recent updates in that department too. Durov actually said that they want to limit Telegram's share of Ton at around 10% of the supply. So what they'll be doing is selling the upcoming surplus of their holdings to long-term investors. So this will essentially lock up the tokens to buyers under a 1 to 4 year time period at a discount to market price. Durov says that this will result in free-floating Ton being locked up, stabilizing the ecosystem and reducing volatility. You can look at it two ways. One way it's good because it means that these tokens are locked, whereas they were previously liquid for Telegram to actually liquidate. But then you do need to be aware of when these unlocks are taking place in the 1 to 4 year time horizon. Now, given the current market conditions, I'm not so worried about these lockups. In fact, in the shorter term, it's bullish for price, but at some point, this supply eventually will come back onto the market. So you do have to remember that, of course, as these new investors take profits. One of these new investors is Marana Ventures. This is backed by Bybit. They're a global investment firm, and they put $8 million into Ton, presumably under this current initiative of giving these Telegram holdings across to strategic investors that want to invest. Animoca also invested in validators, etc. So let's start to summarize things here and make them actionable, because there is one point that I'd really like to get across. PC Principle says Telegram has 800 million, it's actually, I think, closer to 900 million now, monthly active users, opening ads with 50% rev share to advertisers. Advertisers must exclusively use the Ton blockchain for withdrawals. He says, grillions of dollars coming into the ecosystem. And Pepe in turn says, liquidity injection will be crazy. I can already see how CT is slowly starting to notice Ton. Completely under the radar in CT, Binance listing, almost 1 billion users, IPO rumors, biggest hype launch soon, which is Toncoin. So there certainly are a few catalysts. Now, all of these catalysts lend themselves towards one thing: liquidity. So when you have advertisers now able to cash out earnings onto the blockchain, some liquidity is now going to funnel into the blockchain that wasn't previously there and thus into the ecosystem. When you have a major airdrop on the chain, that can also act as a liquidity injection into the ecosystem. And then of course the hype that all of this garners also helps with liquidity. So one of the major things I'm doing right now is looking further into the ecosystem. Now, I'm not going to share any small cap plays today because it would be irresponsible of me. Many of these are absolutely nothing, likely rug pulls. Like a lot of these coins are worth absolutely nothing. And you can see DEX volume on their major DEX is extremely low. So I'm not saying to buy any of these coins right now. What I am saying is keep your eye on the Ton ecosystem. I said at the start of the video, I always want to keep you up to date with the latest ecosystems. If I'm spotting something a little bit left of field, and I think there's an opportunity here, I'll share it with you instead of just giving you, obvious plays in big ecosystems. So Ton's definitely one of them where, okay, the ecosystem's very underdeveloped compared to other blockchains, but with all of this liquidity potentially coming onto the chain and with the clear concerted effort to provide more utility to the Ton token, I think this will attract developers and in turn attract users to the chain. And you're relatively early to this. That's why I say the word undervalued. I think the ecosystem as a whole is undervalued because there's not much there. So this does lend itself towards an opportunity if you research and keep your finger on the pulse with the Ton ecosystem. Now, you can, of course, also look at the Ton token itself and say, okay, 18 bill FDV, 12 bill market cap. It's not crazy when you compare it to something like Solana. It's a 5x lower, considering the fact that Telegram actually has more users than any blockchain. In fact, all the blockchains combined. But of course, you also have to remember that Ton doesn't accrue 100% of the value, and they're even thinking of IPOing the underlying business Telegram itself. So you do have to make that distinction, but it clearly does have a big market cap discrepancy to other tokens with less users. So that's something interesting to take account of. So in my opinion, where you're going to see the most upside is in the ecosystem. If you research it, keep your eye on new launches, check DeFi Llama, check CoinGecko, keep your finger on the pulse. But there also is, of course, the lower risk approach of just going for the Ton token itself. In terms of TA, it has pumped out of this accumulation range, but any major pullbacks, I'll probably look to add a position. It technically is under its all-time high, but here's another lesson in crypto. Price pretty much means nothing. Market cap is what's more important. And although it's below its all-time high in terms of price, there was no supply in the early days. So of course, price is going to be higher. It's actually at its all-time high market cap valuation. So that's something I would also highly urge you to look into with other tokens. Always look at the market cap when you're looking at these super high time frame charts like the weekly and the macro view on a multi-year time frame. Market cap is something that you definitely need to pay attention to and not just look at price. But technically, market cap is now in price discovery. And if this bull run continues to progress and altcoins push higher, I do see this as an ecosystem of interest, and that's why I wanted to present it to you today. So a little bit of a different video for me, straying away from some of my more recent content like the AI, the gaming stuff, the meme coins, but I want this channel to be multifaceted. If I see a big piece of news or an interesting piece of news, no matter what it is, I feel like I should present it to you to make sure you're always up to date with the market. And I think in a few months, we could be looking back on this and saying, wow, this was the start of a thriving ecosystem. So I'll obviously cover this more in the future as I spot projects, as I find things. I'm not going to tell you to buy any garbage. So of course, I've got to, do my own research and spot the real gems in the ecosystem. But obviously you can do that in your own time. And one thing that I don't want this channel to be is just a spoon feeding channel. I also really want to empower you guys and give you like the right direction for you to be able to do your own research. And that's why I love focusing on like broader narratives and ecosystems, because if you have a little bit of nous, it's not hard to find the gems within an ecosystem. You can go into things like CoinGecko, DeFi Llama, you can look through the ecosystems and you can spot these smaller caps. Obviously, it comes with a lot of risk. If you're investing in lower caps, you can literally lose all your money. You can get rugged. So make sure you're doing your own due diligence. For a lot of people, sticking to the majors is a better play. In this instance, sticking to Toncoin versus the eco. But I also know there are a lot of degens out there who will appreciate the opportunity to invest in an ecosystem before it pops off. So that's pretty much it for today. Got a lot of amazing content lined up for the rest of the week. Got an altcoin guide coming tomorrow. On the weekend, I'm dropping my full altcoin buy list for this bull run. That's going to be absolutely epic. So I'm working hard to give you the alpha every single day in this market, and I will see you tomorrow. Subscribe if you haven't already so you don't miss the next video. Have a lovely rest of your day. Peace out.